So tonight's movie is called The Cleansing Hour. And oh dear God, finally something to revive this series. Making a video a day, watching a movie a day, working daily, and just having a life, it's been getting pretty tough. A lot harder than I thought it would be for something as simple as just watching a movie and making a review every day. But especially the last couple films, it's just been so rough because the movies kind of suck. I'm wore out and exhausted, and it's just hard to make a review on these movies. And today I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch something on Shudder. Let's see what happens. And I don't know if I bookmarked it or if my little sister bookmarked it because she also has access to my Shudder account. But there's a film called The Cleansing Hour, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Whatever. Let's just watch something never even heard of and see what happens. And oh boy, was I thoroughly impressed. So kind of a overview of it is there's a guy who broadcasts these episodes kind of like on like Twitch or something to that extent. And in these he performs exorcisms and just religious feats and stuff like that. But it's all scripted. As a lot of these like ghost encounters and everything like that, people think that they're like fake or everything like that. But I think that people will watch them just because they enjoy the value of them, or like the one-off of like if it could be real. They decide to do a show, and they're gonna have someone come in and be the possessed actress or actor and do the show, and that person ends up not showing up, and so they call an audible and use the basically the producer who runs like the switchboards and basically does everything, and then there's like a priest actor, and then you have the victim. And they basically use the producer guy's fiance to be the possessed person, and they have little earpieces in to where they can communicate with each other the whole time and kind of like make this production. Well, he basically says just do your best, like act, and I'll tell you everything you need to do. And then instantly she's like head down, sitting in the chair, shrunken, the hair covering her face, and starts doing like the twitchy, like possessed hands thing, and just really going for it. And I'm like, oh shoot, this chick's really selling it. Let me get back down to my comfort zone. And then they kind of realize that it's not her acting; she's actually possessed. And so they're like freaking out, trying to think about like what to do because we don't actually know what the hell we're doing. Which, said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Don't mess with ghosties. Don't mess with demons. Nothing good can ever come of it. Even if it's just like a playful, like, oh, I'm going to play the Ouija board, see if I can't talk to somebody. No, don't do it. No Ouija boards in my house. Nope. So a couple things that I really enjoyed from this film, beyond the fact of just kind of the concept of like, oh, shoot, we're fighting a demon. We don't know what to do, but we're going to try to figure this out. We have a general idea of what we should be doing, and just crazy things that unfold. So basically the demon sets the rule that nobody can leave, and if they try to leave, they die. And one of the girls, after some crazy stuff happens, just says, screw it, I'm leaving, and tries to run off, and a Jesus figurine comes flying off the shelf from behind her and just boom, right in the back of her head, and she just falls and dies by a Jesus figurine, which I don't think I've seen that happen in a movie, so there's a point. The kind of the cool thing that like I think really kept me like enthralled with this film is the live broadcast aspect. Demons using that against them, so pitting it to like basically every time something's going to happen or the demon's starting to do something, it wants a confession of some form from somebody in the studio. It was just kind of crazy to see like and think about, and it kind of shows a couple of different people that are tuned in. There's people in Seoul, South Korea. There's a kid in a house, like a 10-year-old who happens to just be watching like his favorite Twitch streamer, and then ends up on this thing and just sees the chaos that ensues in this whole video. People dying, everything like that, like fingers getting bit off, like just crazy. Like this would be such a phenomenal thing to see in real life. Like it'd be chaos, and part of me would be like, oh, this is being made up. But then there's the other part of me that's like, this is real, because like he makes it pretty blatantly apparent because he confesses that he's a phony. These are all fake, but this one's actually real. It was such a cool concept. And the acting, I was actually pretty impressed. The gal who plays the possessed gal, because I don't know her name, but post-editing Tony does. I was real impressed by her acting. She really, really sold the whole possessed demon thing. And for me, this is one of the best Exorcist style movies that I've seen in a really, really long time. There was one, I want to say it was Deborah Logan, but maybe not. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Where one of the gals did a bunch of scenes in the possession movie, and I just remember it being in a barn and her like arching her back and all this crazy stuff. And I found out that that was like not CGI. She just straight up did all that. And I remember thinking like, this is insane, like solid. And I haven't seen a good possession movie since that, and I can't think of the name. I don't think it's a Taken of Deborah Logan. I think Deborah Logan's the old lady one. Again, post editing Tony. And then the CGI special effects for being a Shudder exclusive again, and this is I think this third or fourth Shudder exclusive that's been on this list that I've been pretty impressed with. This one really like I don't know why my ring light is flickering. It's the CGI of stuff. I mean, like there's the general like blood splatter and stuff like that. That's kind of hard to screw up, but I mean people still do somehow. But especially just the stuff that they pulled out of her throat, the guy tweaking in the bathroom, just crazy. I don't want to say too much without being in the spoiler zone because I don't want to ruin the movie. But check this movie out. Moving into the spoiler zone area of things. So can we talk about the demon devil thing at the end? I think that it's supposed to be like the devil is like who it is, because it's not that Ammon or whatever that thing was that they said, and it says it was my book, and it's called the Devil's Book, so I imagine that means that he's a devil. CGI like transformation of the skin ripping off was really cool. Like when he stood up as the burnt guy and it was just like the fire ice thing, and I was like, okay, come on now, really? But then it just goes through this whole like skin shredding off, flesh ripping, that I just thought was beautifully executed. The actual look of the devil demon himself, like I was pretty impressed. I was like, okay, that's pretty sick looking. And when they like do the exorcism, like where it like finally like leaves her body and she like throws her arms out and there's like these like wing things that come out of her, I thought it was pretty cool. Favorite part of this movie, and I didn't see this coming one bit because I figured like, you know, every horror movie, 99% of the horror movies, you have the startup, the build up, the event, and then you have everything's okay, we're fine now. Which is where I kind of thought this was going until there was the whole thing where the devil showed up and spoke some weird Latin, which I'd imagine that's what demons speak, and it was Latin, right? You know, Latin, you're a demon. And then just says something into the camera all creepy like this, being all sinister and Parva Sic Magna. That's the only Latin I know. Uncharted. And then just bites the cable and is just gone. And I was like, all right, what was the point of that? Because it mentioned it knows that we're still recording and broadcasting. And I was like, that's weird. I wonder if they're going to explain that. And then they do, which is phenomenal because, again, some movies just don't. They just kind of end on that note where you're like, it's open to interpretation. No, tell me what the heck I'm supposed to be knowing. And then just the purge happens, demon style. Which is just great. And even then they just still kept going, and I kind of wanted more to happen, but I understand like you got to end a movie at some point. But like when the chefs or the cooks, the line cooks are all in the room, and then like three of them that were watching the broadcast that heard the possession spell, if you will, and then they just turn and start attacking the other people, and he's just pushing the dude's face against the flat top grill and just showing like all these people around the world in the scope of it. There was like 11 million, maybe more. I think there was more, 12 million, 13 million people tuned into this that all just became possessed worldwide. And so, like I said, it kind of sucks that that's where it ended, but it'd be kind of cool to see maybe even a follow-up movie of this where now you have the world that's pretty possessed. I don't know what percentage that is of the world, again, post-editing, Tony. And just a movie of that where it's kind of like a zombie type thing, but like The Purge, and it just would be a cool film to have where just a bunch of people that you don't know, or like you have no idea who or what, it just suddenly they're just demons, and so like I'm here recording this video and then my wife walks in and tries to stab me and then I have to kill her on stream, or get killed on stream, like that'd be an awesome movie. So for this movie, I think just everything that it did in the film, the CGI, the story, and there's like a couple little humorous elements to it, mainly from like the demon just being a malicious, mischievous demon and being kind of funny and quirky. I'm gonna go with a 9 on this one. I really want to say a 10. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with a 10. And I don't know that it's because, like I said, the last couple movies I've watched have been so awful. So this is just a breath of fresh air. And I don't know if it's because I just watched 2 terrible movies prior to this, and then this is just grand. And I'm sure that my emotion and everything that's coming through these videos, and even length of this video, shows how much more I enjoy this movie than those other movies. So I'm gonna go with a 10 on this. I think at the end of the month, I'm gonna revisit my videos and kind of make an updated list, because there's certain ones that I gave a score to that I think that I was just trying to be nice, and then other ones that I kind of rated accordingly because I didn't want it to be too high, but I didn't want it to be lower than the other movie, and so I give it like the middle number. Like, no, I'm gonna just redo the whole list and make a video of my top 31 or my 31 movies from the month, and then like maybe really go into depth on like the top 5 or something. But this one's definitely up there. Again, The Cleansing Hour on Shudder.com. If you don't know about Shudder.com, it's a streaming site dedicated to those who love the spooky, dark, scary times. Hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag would love to be a sponsor. Hashtag hashtags.